When they built the Panama Canal, they realized the Pacific was higher than the Atlantic. If they hadn't built the locks, only connected the oceans, would the Pacific flow into the Atlantic until they were both the same level? No, you would have created a tidal strait. https://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/tidal_strait, and water would flow continuously, mostly from the Atlantic to the Pacific. It's not as if the two oceans aren't already very much touching. https://i.pimg.com/originals/5e/d9 3e/2d799f04c07c5b96ad38c24d2.jpg. Around the southern ends of America and Africa, water could easily flow, and it does wherever it needs to equalize the sea levels. But the concept of equal sea levels is an equilibrium concept, and the oceans are not in equilibrium. The Pacific is larger, warmer, more saline than the Atlantic. The warmer, saltier water expands and increases the sea level an inch or so. That process wouldn't be affected by the presence of a teensy canal like the Panama. But the more important effect would be the ocean tides striking the canal from the eastern side, pushing water through it from Atlantic to Pacific. Yes, the Atlantic entrance to the canal is technically to the west of the Pacific entrance, but the tides don't care about that. The Atlantic and the Pacific were already connected to each other. Digging the Panama Canal without locks would have had no appreciable impact on their levels. Probably not. The Pacific side is lower because trade winds push the water away from the coastline. Trade winds are too large-scale and powerful to be compensated for by a canal. The average overall level is the same in all oceans. When they say the Pacific is higher than the Atlantic in the context of the Panama Canal, they mean specifically at the points where the canal goes. Sea level is sea level. The locks are there to get the boats up to and down from Gatun Lake. http://www.icway.org/wp-content/uploads/2017/junior21pic1online.jpg. The Panama Canal is largely above the level of both oceans, so without the locks it would simply have been impassable to ships. But assuming that they had made it deeper, it would have created a flow, yes, but it wouldn't have been large enough to ever equalize the two. Yusuunayat. Are those oceans not both at sea level? If they hadn't built the locks, would the Great Lakes flow into the Atlantic Ocean until they were both the same level? No. The difference between the Atlantic and Mediterranean is much higher, and they will never equalize. No. The Pacific and all the oceans touching or indirectly touching the Pacific would drain, and then we would all be dead. The locks raise ships from one ocean to Gatun Lake and back down again to sea level on either side. One ocean isn't higher than the other. If left open, the lake would empty into the oceans and the higher locks would dry up.